In this video, we are going to look at the division of polynomials. But before we do that, let's look at division of numbers. So first, let's look at 125 divided by 5. So we're going to do this using long division. So we're going to put our dividend here and our divisor out here. So now we're going to say 5 into 1, cannot. And then we're going to say 5 into 12, which will be 2, because 5 2s are 10. So you're going to write the 2 on top here. And then we say 2 multiplied by 5, which will give us 10. We write the 10 down here. Then we're going to subtract the 12 and the 10. And that will give us 2. Then we bring down this 5. So we'll have the 5 here. And now we'll say 5 into 25, which is 5. And we write that 5 on top here. And then we say 5 times 5, which is 25. And put the 25 here. And now we'll subtract again. So I'll put a subtraction sign here. And now we have 25 take away 25, which will just give us 0. Now, notice we don't get a remainder here. So that means the 5 and also the 25 are factors of our dividend. So both our divisor and this 25 on top here, the answer is called the quotient. So both the divisor and the quotient are factors of 125 because when we divide 125 by 5, we got a remainder of 0. So I'm going to put note. I'll just put that the divisor times the quotient. 5 times 25 is equal to 125. So 5 times 25 is equal to 125. And now this only happens, you can multiply the divisor by the quotient only when you get a remainder of 0. And it will be equal to the dividend. So I'll put hence 5 and 25 are factors of 125. Now next, let's look at 126 divided by 5. So I'm going to do long division again. So I'll put the 126 here, which is our dividend. I'll put our divisor out here, which is 5. You say same thing again. 5 into 1 cannot. So 5 into 12. And again, 5 into 12 will be 2 because 5 2s are 10. So we put the 2 on top here. Then we'll say the 2 times 5 is 10. We write the 10 here. Of course, we're going to subtract the 12 and the 10. So we're going to have 12 take away 10, which is 2. And then we're going to bring down the 6. And now we're going to say 5 into 26, which is 5 because 5 times 5 is 25. So I'm going to write that 5 here. And then I'm going to say the 5 times this 5, which is 25. Of course, we're going to subtract again. And now 26 take away 25 will give us 1. So this time we got a remainder. Of course, there's nothing else to bring down to continue going. So the remainder is 1. So now in this case, we cannot say 5, our divisor, times our quotient, 25, is equal to 126. Because that would be wrong because 5 times 25 is 125. So in this case, because we got a remainder, the 5 and the 25 are not factors of our dividend, which is 126. So I'm going to put a little note here. So because we got a remainder, 5 and 25 are not factors of 126. Now, how do we state our answer for 126 divided by 5? Well, we'll have 126 divided by 5 is equal to, we'll take our quotient, which is 25, and then we take our remainder, which is 1, and put it over our divisor. So we have 1, the remainder, over the divisor, which is 5. So we have 25 and 1/5. So that will simply means 25 plus 1/5. And of course, if you're writing the answer for this one, we have 125 divided by 5. Of course, the answer is going to be our quotient, which is just 25. So now that we look at the method of long division when dividing numbers, for when we don't get a remainder, which means we have factors, and when we have a remainder, which means we don't have factors. Now let's apply this long division method to the division of polynomials. So here I have my question. We're going to divide this polynomial here, the 6x cubed, take away 11x squared, take away 1x, because that's what x means, 1x, plus 6 divided by 2x, take away 3. Now before we do the division, I want to point out something. Our highest power of x is power of 3. So the powers must come down in descending order. So we have x cubed, then we have x squared, then we have x to the power of 1, and then of course 6 would be like 6 times x to the power of 0, because x to the power of 0 is just 1, and 1 times 6 is 6. So the powers on our variable is coming down in descending order. So if I were to get a question like 6x cubed, take away x plus 6, I'll have 3 as the highest power on my variable x. Then I have x to the power 1. So something is missing, x to the power of 2. So what we have to do in a case like this is put it equal to 6x cubed, take away 0x squared, then put in negative x plus 6. So in order for the division to work smoothly, we need our powers to come down in descending order. So if something is missing, just put a 0 and put the x to whatever power is missing. So now this is our dividend and this is our divisor. So let's set up our long division. So we're going to have 2x take away 3 divided by 6x cubed, take away 11x squared, take away x plus 6. So what we're going to do is look at our first term in our divisor. So remember, terms are separated by plus or minus signs. So this 2x is one term and this 3 is another term. Within our dividend, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So we're going to take our first term in our dividend and divide it by our first term in our divisor. So what I'll be saying is 2x into the 6x cubed, and I'll write my answer on top here. So obviously 2 into 6 is 3. And of course, x into x cubed will give you x squared. Now I'll take this answer that I got when I divide my first term in my dividend with my first term in my divisor. I will take this answer and multiply it by 2 terms in my divisor. So I'm going to say 3x squared multiplied by 2x. Of course, 3 by 2 is 6, and x by x squared is x cubed. So I'm going to get 6x cubed. Of course, when you multiply this by this, these two must always be the same. If it don't get them being the same, you did something wrong. So now we have the 3x squared multiplied by this negative 3. So you multiply our negative by positive, so the answer will be negative. 3 by negative 3 is negative 9. So I write negative 9 here. And then we have the x squared, and we have no x squared here, so we just write back this x squared. Now you see how things line up? The x cubed line up with the x cubed, the x squared line up with the x squared. Because remember, we can only add and subtract like terms. So the subtraction would be this 6x cubed take away the 6x cubed, and this negative 11x squared take away this negative 9x squared. Of course, for the 6x cubed, take away the 6x cubed, you're going to get 0. But now look at this, we're going to have negative 11x squared, but we can forget about the x squared for now. That's negative 11 take away negative 9. Now, if you're not sure about doing this, you can use a calculator. All right, so I'll put in negative sign, negative 11 take away, and then we have negative 9. So I could put open brackets, negative 9, close brackets like that, and we get negative 2. So what's really taking place? This negative here and this negative, when you multiply them, you're going to get positive. So you're going to have negative 11 plus 9, which is negative 2. All right, so write in my answer here. So forget about all these signs here. Whatever is the sign of your answer, that's what you put in here. So the answer, when you have negative 11 take away negative 9, you got negative 2. So you write negative 2, and of course is x squared. And now we'll bring down this negative x, which is negative 1x. So let's write negative x. And now we'll take our first term here, because 0 is nothing. All right. So our first term here, this negative 2x squared, and divide it by our first term in our divisor. So when I say 2x into negative 2x squared, of course 2 will cancel 2, and x into x squared is just x. Now we divide in what? A negative with a positive, so the answer will be negative. So we're going to have negative, and of course 2 cancel 2, and x into x squared is just x. And now we take our answer here, which is negative x, and multiply it by our 2 terms in our divisor. So negative x times 2x is negative 2x squared. And then negative x times negative 3, of course 2 negatives give a positive, you get positive 3x. So positive 3x. Now notice x squareds line up and x line up. So now we're going to do the subtractions. So we're going to take away this negative 2x squared with this negative 2x squared. And we're going to take away this negative x with this positive 3x. Now, obviously, these two things are the same, so when you subtract them, you're going to get 0. And look at what we have here. Remember, negative x means negative 1x. So what we're really saying here is negative 1 take away positive 3. So we're going to have negative 1 take away positive 3. So positive 3 is the same as just putting 3. So 3. So negative 1 take away positive 3, which is just negative 4. Now, if you wanted to write that out, you could write negative 1x take away positive 3x like that, because that's what we're seeing here. And this negative and positive sign will give you a negative sign. So what you have is negative 1x take away 3x. And of course, 2 signs are the same, so you're going to add and keep that negative sign, and 1 plus 3 is 4. So that's why we get negative 4x. So I'm going to write my negative 4x here. And now we're going to bring down this positive 6. So I'm going to write positive 6 here. Again, same thing. Take your first term here, this negative 4x, and divide it by our first term in our divisor. So we're going to say 2x into negative 4x. Of course, we have a negative and a positive again, so the answer will be negative. So 2 into negative 4 will give you negative 2. And of course, the x will cancel the x. So now you take this negative 2 and multiply it by our 2 terms in our divisor. So negative 2 times 2x would give you negative 4x. And negative 2 times negative 3, 2 negatives you're multiplying, you're going to get a positive. So 2 times 3 is 6. So we get positive 6. And now look at this. These two things are the same. So when we subtract same thing from the same thing, you're going to get 0. All right? Negative 4x take away negative 4x, you can get 0. 6 take away 6, you're going to get 0. So I'm just going to write a 0 here. Now, if you recall, getting a remainder of 0 means our divisor and our quotient are factors of our dividend. So I'm going to write, since we have a remainder of 0, all right, the 2x take away 3 and the 3x squared take away x take away 2 are factors of this 6x cubed take away 11x squared take away x plus 6. And now remember, if you multiply our divisor times our quotient, we'll get the dividend once we have a remainder of 0. So that means 6x cubed take away 11x squared take away x plus 6 is equal to 2x take away 3 in brackets times 3x squared take away x take away 2. So what we have here, if you were asked to factorize this cubic expression, this would be the answer. Now, this is a linear factor here, and this is a quadratic factor. Now, we could check and see if we could factorize this quadratic factor and get 2 linear factors. So now I'll go and check to see if this quadratic could be factorized to get 2 linear factors. So we have 3x squared take away x take away 2. So this is 3x squared, take away x, take away 2. All right, so I'll have product, sum, factor. I multiply first term by last term, so 3x squared by negative 2 to get the product, which will be negative 6x squared. Then the middle term will be just negative 1x, negative 1x. Factors of 6 are 6 by 1 and 3 by 2. So you're looking to see which factors of the product will give us the sum. So obviously 6 and 1 can never give us 1. So obviously it will be 3 and 2 because 3 take away 2 is 1. Now let's look to see how to get the signs. So I'll say 2 take away 3 is negative 1. All right. So how are we going to use that? And of course, 2 multiplied by negative 3 is negative 6. So it satisfies both the sum to getting negative 1 and the product to getting negative 6 here. So for factors, we're going to write that 2 first, which is positive 2x, take away 3x, which will give us negative 1x. And of course, if you multiply 2x times negative 3x, you get negative 6x squared. So we're going to replace this negative x with this 2x, take away 3x. So 3x squared plus the 2x, take away 3x, take away 2, and now you factorize by grouping. So you're going to take 2 terms at a time. So the first 2. What's common between 3x squared and 2x? Well, obviously that's the x. So x, 3x squared divided by x, you're going to get 3x, and 2x divided by x, you're going to get 2. Then we're going to look at the next 2 terms. And of course, our first term here starts with a negative sign, so our HCF, our highest common factor, will start with a negative sign. And between 3x and 2, I can't find anything common except 1, so I write 1. So I divide negative 3x with negative 1 and get positive 3x. Divide negative 2 with negative 1 and get positive 2. So now you're going to take what's outside the brackets, which is the x take away 1. So we have x take away 1 in brackets like that. And then these 2 brackets are always the same. You just write it once. So we have 3x plus 2. So these 2 will be 2 linear factors of this quadratic factor. So we have x take away 1 and 3x plus 2. So now I can come back here and replace this quadratic factor with the 2 linear factors I just got when I factorize this quadratic. So I'm going to put this is equal to 2x take away 3. And now I'm replacing the quadratic with the 2 linear factors, which are x take away 1 and the 3x plus 2. And this will be how you factorize a cubic expression. Now also note that is 6x cubed take away 11x squared take away x plus 6 divided by the 2x take away 3 is equal to our quotient, which is the 3x squared take away x take away 2. And just something I'd like to highlight here is that if this quadratic could not be factorized, then this here would be the answer for factorizing this polynomial. So getting all linear factors would depend on if this quadratic could be factorized or not. Now, let's look at this next question here. So we have 2x to the power 4, we have 4x cubed, we have 3x squared, and then we have negative 5. So notice something is missing. And if you're looking at the powers coming down in descending order, 4, 3, 2, then where's the x to the power 1? So when we're doing the division, we'd have to put 0x to the power 1 to fill the space here, and then the negative 5. So again, this is our dividend, and this is our divisor. So we write the divisor outside, which is the 2x squared plus 1. Then we write our dividend inside of here, which is the 2x to the power 4 plus 4x cubed. Take away 3x squared. As I said, we're going to fill the space. So let's put positive 0x to the power 1, which is at 0x. And then I'll put the negative 5. So again, we'll take our first term in our dividend and divide it by our first term in our divisor. So I'll be saying 2x squared into this 2x to the power 4. So obviously 2 will cancel 2, and x squared into x to the power 4 will give you x squared. So I write that x squared on top here like this. Then we say the x squared multiplied by our terms in our divisor. So we have two terms in the divisor. So we multiply this x squared by those two terms. So x squared by 2x squared will give you 2x to the power 4. So notice these two are always the same. And x squared multiplied by positive 1 will give us positive 1x squared. So now if we write positive 1x squared here, now notice something. The x to the power 4 lines up with x to the power 4. But then we have x to the power 3 line up with x to the power 2. Now remember, we're going to be taking away. So we're going to say this here take away this, and this here take away this. And we can only add and subtract like terms. So we cannot do subtraction here because these two terms are not like terms. So therefore, if we want to subtract, this x squared needs to line up under this x squared. So I'll take this positive x squared and bring it under the negative 3x squared. Then I'll put my subtraction signs. So now I'll say this 2x to the power 4, take away 2x to the power 4, same thing, take away same thing. The answer is going to be 0. So now you don't have to write the 0, but I'll still write it. So I'll put 0 here. Now this negative 3x squared take away this positive 1x squared. So what we have here, negative 3 take away positive 1. If you want to write out that, negative 3 take away positive 1. So these two signs, this negative and positive sign, will give you a negative sign. So now the two signs are the same, so you're going to add and keep the negative sign, so you're going to get negative 4. So what we're going to get here is negative 4x squared. So I write the negative 4x squared. Now, I know this is looking weird, so now what we're going to do? Well, since we had nothing to go with this, we need to bring it down, and we'll bring down the 0x. So you're going to bring this down, and this is positive 4x cubed, so we're going to write positive 4x cubed. And we're also going to bring down the 0x. So we're going to have positive 0x. And now remember, this 0 here is not our first term because 0 is nothing. So this is our first term. So you're going to take this first term here and divide it by our first term in our divisor. So we're going to say 4x cubed divided by 2x squared, or we're going to say 2x squared into 4x cubed. Now this is positive 2x squared and this is positive 4x cubed. So two positives, when you're dividing, you're going to get a positive answer. So one time I can write a positive sign here. So now when we say 2 into 4, we're going to get 2. So I write this 2 here. And of course, x squared into x to the power 3 will just give you x. So I write x here. Now I'm going to take this answer here, this positive 2x, and multiply by our two terms in our divisor. So this positive 2x times this positive 2x squared will give you positive 4x cubed. So I write that positive 4x cubed here. And now this 2x times this positive 1 will just give you positive 2x. And now if I write that positive 2x under here, under the 4x squared, we'll have unlike terms. So I write it under the term with x. So I write the positive 2x here. Alright, so remember we're going to be subtracting, and you can only subtract, well, you can only add and subtract like terms. So the x has to line up with the x, and the x cubed has to line up with the x cubed. So I'll put my subtraction signs. So obviously this is the same thing as this, so subtract these two things, you're going to get 0. So you're going to have 0. I have nothing to subtract here, so I'll bring it down. But first, let's look here. 0 take away positive 2. We'll have 0 take away positive 2. This negative and positive sign, when you multiply them, you're going to get a negative sign. So we have 0 take away 2, which is just negative 2. So what you're going to get here is just negative 2x. So now we bring down this negative 4x squared. So I write negative 4x squared. And we'll bring down negative 5. So I'll have negative 5 here. Now again, 0 is nothing, so this is not our first term. This negative 4x squared is our first term. So we're going to divide this negative 4x squared by our first term in our divisor here, which is 2x squared. So 2 into negative 4 is negative 2. So I'll put negative 2 here. And of course, x squared will cancel this x squared. So 2x squared into negative 4x squared is just negative 2. So now I'll take this negative 2 and multiply by our two terms in our divisor. So this negative 2 by this positive 2x squared will give us negative 4x squared. And of course, the negative 2 times the positive 1 will give us negative 2. So now that negative 2 will be a constant, and I cannot write it under the negative 2x because they wouldn't be like terms. I need to write it under the constant, which will be negative 5. So again, when I multiply this negative 2 times this positive 1, which is negative 2, I'll be writing that answer under the negative 5 like this. So now I'll put my subtraction signs. And these two things are the same, so when you subtract them, you would get 0. So I'm just going to write 0 here. This negative 5, take away this negative 2. You write that as negative 5, take away the negative 2. These two signs, when you multiply them, you get positive signs, so negative 5 plus 2. And of course, the 5 is the bigger magnitude, so the answer will be negative. Signs are different. You're subtracting. 2 from 5 is 3, so negative 3. So I'm going to get negative 3 here. And now, since you have nothing to go with this, you just bring it down. So I'm going to bring this down. So we have negative 2x. So now notice this time we have nothing to bring down here. And when we say this 2x squared into this negative 2x, well, this is bigger than this. So therefore, this 2x squared cannot go into this negative 2x. So therefore, we have to stop. So this would be our remainder. All right, so saying that 2x to the power 4 plus 4x cubed, take away 3x squared, take away 5, divided by 2x squared plus 1 is equal to our quotient, which is the x squared plus 2x, take away 2. So remember, this is our quotient, this is our remainder, this is our divisor, this is our dividend. Now, this division here is not equal to the quotient alone. We got a remainder. So what we're going to do this remainder? We're going to add the remainder, which is this negative 2x, take away 3, over our divisor, which is 2x squared plus 1. And I'm just going to put over here, since we got a remainder, this 2x squared plus 1 and this quotient here, this x squared plus 2x take away 2, are not factors of our dividend, which is this polynomial here. So since we got a remainder, I put of negative 2x take away 3, the 2x squared plus 1, and the x squared plus 2x take away 2 are not factors of our dividend, which is the 2x to the power 4 plus 4x to the power 3, take away 3x squared, take away 5. And that will bring us to the end of this video.